Greetings, diaspora. Welcome to Ife'S Village Podcast, your podcast for all things Black mental health and wellness. A safe space where fellowship and healing begins. Got a bit time.
Yeah.
We are back with another episode. Tonight, we have our drinks in hand, a little talk because we're going to talk about PTSD and parenting. How parenting causes PTSD.
It's a real thing.
I don't think they really. I don't think they get it. So I followed this sister from Mom's. Let me make sure I'm saying it right because it's Mom's True Tea podcast. Her name
Shout
is
out, Mom.
Yes, her name is Kendall Lasha Williams. She is amazing. I spoke about her on the last podcast because she said the thing that nobody dares to say. I didn't have a good experience in motherhood.
Yeah.
I didn't like it, and while we love our kids, sometimes the experiences in parenthood, that thing will take you for a loop. So we're gonna dive into that tonight. We're gonna kind of free flow as usual because we just want to get some authentic insight out tonight, and yeah, we're gonna do that.
Many parents can relate.
Yes, I think that you will definitely be able to relate. And
Yeah.
if you can't say it yet, we're going to say it for you. God damn it, we got PTSD for parenting. Because this shit has been hard.
Yeah.
It has been hard. As I said last time, we have 5 kids, 4 girls, 1 boy. The youngest is 16, and the oldest is about to hit 30.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know we look young and all, but I was a teen parent. So, yeah, we were young trying to do this thing. So, we had some hiccups along the way, but however, we, poured into our kids the best we knew how to pour into them. And, we gave it a good go, but
we did good.
We did great. Our kids are fucking fantastic.
This is about. She feels like we didn't do good.
No, I don't feel like we didn't do good. I just wish I do sometimes feel like, we missed the ball on certain things, but that's just because over the years I've learned more and I've gained more knowledge in the area of psychology and parenting and what that looks like, and learning
actual experience,
right? And learning myself and how some of my shit has spilled over to my kids. So I have my moments, but let's just go ahead and cheers and get started, so I don't be rambling on.
My bad, I went in advance.
Here's to diving into PTSD,
parenthood.
Okay, let me take a sip.
Okay. But it's life is good.
It is. So we have I'm sorry, did I not introduce you?
It's okay.
Okay.
They don't have to know me. They need the message.
I am your host, Empress Ife. This is my husband, my partner, my co-host, Malik Starr.
Let's give thanks. Thank you for having me.
Okay, we got the gym bag. We're going to tap
and
on
rockets
tonight. Yeah, and on rockets. We're going to do that. Okay, so let's see. Do we need to turn music down a little bit?
No, we good.
Okay.
Be good.
All right, I'm just making sure. Hopefully it's not too loud.
We talk loud anyway.
Yeah, we do
loud.
We loud.
All right.
Okay, so let's see. For the first thing that we're going to hit off with, so I was supposed to have this pulled up, but let me pull this up really quickly. Babe, tell them what you know PTSD to be.
For parenting?
Just in general.
Oh.
What is your definition or
post-trauma, post-traumatic syndrome,
stress
syndrome, stress disorder. I'm sorry. Well, it's popularly known from veterans and military people of having effects. My grandfather had it that raised me. Elijah Bud Sharp, God bless his soul. He had it, and he was a Navy veteran, super good sharpshooter, but couldn't go on deck. So he was born in 24. So you can imagine in his time in the Navy, he couldn't go on. All he could do was swab the deck, if y'all know what that is, and all he could do was serve the white military personnel. Boom, that's it. But he was one of the better shooters. Just like you hear about in Pearl Harbor, the better shooters came up when the panic attack came. Some of them people was in the mess hall. Some of them black warriors came up and shot down these planes in Pearl Harbor. But he was one of those too.
Right.
So, but he never got a chance to really. He was in the war, but he was in the mess hall serving. He couldn't go on deck. So he had a lot of PTSD from a lot of. If he a firecracker, for instance, not to keep it long. If he used to set off fireworks, but if he hit something that he didn't set off, he'd get annoyed, reach for his gun. You know, so yeah, it's real. Post traumatic stress disorder is real.
Yes, it is.
So that's all I got to say about it. I witnessed it. Didn't know what it was then, but I know what it is now.
Right. So yeah. So post. I pulled up a definition of it just so I can bring some clarity, and we can start the conversation off on what it actually looks like. So post traumatic stress disorder is a disorder in which a person has difficulty recovering after experiencing or witnessing a terrifying event. The condition may last months or years with triggers that can bring back memories of the trauma accompanied by intense emotional and physical reactions. Symptoms may include nightmares or unwanted memories of the trauma, avoidance of situations that bring back memories of the trauma, heightened reactions, anxiety, or depressed moods. Treatment includes different types of trauma-focused psychotherapy as well as medications to manage symptoms. Excuse me.
Nowadays, the medication.
Yeah, we not even gonna go down that road again.
Glad Bud didn't have to experience that.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So, as far as parenting is concerned, like I have a background. I have a lot of practical experience. I heard somebody saying today that there's a lot of internet therapists around.
We need those.
Right, but look, I mean, but when they were saying it, they were saying non-licensed.
People that, yeah.
Right, people that don't have a license.
People's opinion.
But I think what people seem to forget is that while I do not knock school, and I applaud those who have gone on to get their doctorate, who are licensed, who are still on their journey, such as I applaud them for all of their efforts and taking the time to do those things so that they can make sure that they are informed.
Yes.
However, what people fail to realize is that practical experience, hands-on experience, also equips you to be able to have these conversations. I do not claim to be a licensed therapist. I am not. This podcast is the information that we share on here is based on personal experience. It is based on that's why I will look to certified references to share certain things with you all. I'm not just, and do my research. I'm not just spewing things out, but these are based on personal experiences. This stuff is not meant to treat anybody or anything like that. It's just sharing our experiences, fellowshipping, having a conversation, because a lot of times parents don't have the spaces, adults don't have the safe spaces to be able to talk about some of the things that be going on in their life.
And that's the problem. Bottled up.
Right. So that's what this is. I'm not going to put, I'm not licensed. So I just want to clarify that neither one of us are licensed, but I have worked.
Get our street license.
Right. I have experience. We both have dealt with our own mental health issues. We have children who have mental health issues. We have family members who have mental health issues. I have worked in environment. I have worked with homeless families. I have worked with kids who have experienced trauma. I have worked hand in hand. I have worked up and close and personal with substance abusers, people who have experienced domestic violence.
Homeless shelter, DC.
Yes, I have been, and I've been doing this for 20 plus years. Yes. And I did all of that before I ever got a degree in psychology. So I'm just saying, not boastful. That's me sharing my information.
Mega facts.
You all understand that I'm not coming from a place of inexperience. I know, some of these things because I've dealt with them up close and personal. And I had to research and learn on my own a lot of times, and I also worked with professionals who were licensed, so I was able to shadow them and pick up some of their tools and techniques and things like that. So right now I guess we could just go ahead and dive into how PTSD has really, been. Let me just say this disclaimer.
I just thought
I
about
was
it.
diagnosed with PTSD. So I'm gonna just say that. Let me put that out there. I was diagnosed with PTSD, and as I said in the last episode, I was also diagnosed with anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder, and depression. So the PTSD diagnosis really came when I started to dive into my childhood with a therapist that I was working with, and then she started to notice how traumatized I was based on the things that were going on with my son, one of my kids. To say that, one of my kids. It was a lot.
Be real.
It was a lot.
Be real.
It was a lot,
Yeah.
and I could not, like, the fear that was welling up in me over what was my son was experiencing. It was crazy, and it was triggering so many emotions, so many just physical reactions that I just felt sick like all the time. I just couldn't. It was hard for me to even focus on my other kids because I was so focused on life and how the things that he was doing was impacting.
Mama and her boy. Y'all know.
Yeah,
Y'all know. Parents know. Veteran parents know what she's talking about.
And he's my only son. You know what I mean? So for me, that shit was hard. Yeah. It was hard. I really didn't start until these recent years, like really start setting boundaries.
You going to Al-Anon?
Yes, I did. I did Al-Anon.
That made you cope.
It did. It helped me a lot. So while I was in school, I started learning more about because I always knew about AA and stuff like that, but I completely forgot about Al-Anon. I knew that it was there, but I didn't even think to venture into it. I started doing Al-Anon. I would do it like once a week, and it was really, really helpful because it started to help me to see that I'm not the only one that's going through this. I'm not crazy.
It helped her.
It helped me a lot.
I watched it.
Yeah, it helped me a lot. It helped me to take baby steps towards creating boundaries when it came to my son. Because if he called, I was jumping.
And still, but that helped. That helped.
You just had to throw that.
No, but I'm saying, just being real.
It's
you have to use those
tools.
I'm
like that with all my kids.
You have to still use those tools.
Yeah, I'm
you
like
still
that
have to use those tools up to this day.
Yeah.
You still have to use those tools. Because a mother and her son, something else. Y'all know.
It's a strong bond, with a mother and her son. And, I know that a couple of the experiences that we went through with him, it's like really scared me. It scared me to the point where I didn't know if I was going to see my son again. So just, having that train of thought and then already having an anxious mind and things like that, it just put me in a really, really bad space. But eventually, as of late, I've started to set boundaries where it comes to him because I will never tell my kids, like, I won't help you and I won't support you, but I will make sure that they understand the boundaries that comes along with. I'm going to help you in the way that I can help you, not necessarily in the way that you want me to help you. And if that is not the type of help that you need, then there's nothing else I can do for you other than pray for you and remind you that you are loved. And when you are ready to receive what I have to give, then I'm here for you. That's all I can really do at this point, because it takes a lot out of you to constantly, give so much energy to somebody who is not willing to receive what you have to offer.
I'm gonna turn it down. Sorry.
Okay. Did you turn it down?
It's okay. We gotta talk
loud.
No,
it is loud. Turn it down. He's gonna turn it. It's just a little loud. Some of the songs are louder than others. There we go.
Go ahead.
That's good.
I'm sorry.
We're back. It's okay.
It's reality.
Yeah, music is our life. It's definitely
the vibes are going.
It's definitely one of our tools. It's definitely one of the things that can help us when we are going through these moments when we are triggered. when we are having those symptoms of PTSD. Like
Coping, it's part of coping skills.
It's a big coping skill.
Music is a vibe.
It really is.
It gets you back.
Yeah.
Back.
So
back into your square.
Babe, I want you to share. About your interactions with our kids and how that has impacted your mental health and parenting and things like that. Because I've seen you.
Yeah.
Like I've seen you be
29 years.
In some situations, and years. You get very anxious about it. Mm-hmm. Very anxious. So I know you're being triggered.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say anything else. I'm gonna let you talk.
Well, I think with me, we as parents, and in our upper age now, as evolved parents, it's a different generation of kids. It's a different type of kid these days than how we were raised. They shun the way we got our ass whipped, to be honest. You know that? They like, what? I can't believe that. And they're right. They're right.
Yeah.
They're right. But we as a people constantly evolve. We as a culture, we constantly evolve. Everything is evolving. So I can see the difference of where they rather run away from instruction than to sit there and be like scared of instruction. Like we were. We took instruction, but we were scared of the consequence. Like that was it. These kids will be like, man, I'll go sleep on the street before I listen to what you talking about. All my friends hail me.
That part.
All my friends hail me, so you should hail me too. But that's part of coming up in some adolescence. And
on
you're
the street.
Yeah, you
rather take fucking instruction.
It's real with this generation is like that. So we had to change with the times. We learn it. We see it now. Our older kids say that, oh, the younger kids got different parents, like everybody else. I know y'all know what we talking about. The older kids had it hard. They got their butts whipped. Mm-hmm. The younger kids, yeah, they got that belt, just like we did. But the younger kids, we had to just find a new way.
Right. We learned a new way.
Starting with our son, to be honest.
We learned a new way. Mm. But I want you do not get into the nook and cranny, because I want you to share. I need you to share some of the incidents that have happened that has caused you to be anxious in certain situations with our kids.
Okay, so I don't know how transparent I could be, but
just be transparent.
It was a time when we moved to Georgia. Georgia received our kids. We from DC. We down in Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to the DC.
So the girls, they get along. They got their friend. They found the best friends of their lives. The girls down here. It came out. I'm sorry. So he was praised when he got here. He was a DC kid. Everybody looked up to us. So at 12, 13, I can see where that takes your head to another place. You know what I mean? And let me say this, not just the black girls, but the Caucasian women was on him. So he was drawn to Caucasian. And anybody that know us know that we really not with that, but that's cool. We not mad at it. But knowing us, y'all know us, like, wow, I saw white girls, so the power was there. I didn't realize it till later on that he had so much power in his brain but it was unwilled. It was unwilled. Yes, it was unwilled power, and at a bad time. So Georgia kind of did him wrong. It threw him for a loop. And I was telling him at the time, listen, man, they laughing with you now, but they're gonna be laughing at you later. I was telling early on. So came a time where, to make a long story short, we was cross-disciplined. The mother was being a mother, bringing this girl in the house, and I'm like, she shouldn't even be here. She telling me to stop yelling at the girl. I'm like, she shouldn't even be here. So then later on, blah, 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 15, 16, find rubbers outside the boy. Glad he used rubbers, but You shouldn't be fucking in my house.
Oh, you being real transparent. Go ahead.
She told me to be, y'all.
Did. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
This is what it is, though. Y'all have to see, so it came a time where, he just rebelled against everything I said, he was like, fuck it, I'm going to leave. I get back to the house one day, ready to fight that. Out of nowhere, we tight as, I'm talking about, we tight like the peace sign, like this, like tight all our lives. Handshake, all that, but I think Georgia did something to his mind that I didn't even realize at the time. And I was steady trying to father. I was being the disciplined father my grandfather was to me. I was being that from then, from the 80s and the 90s. Like, ran from that. That's why he don't take instruction. I take blame for that. I do take blame for that. That's why he don't take instruction well. And to this day, he don't take instruction well. Yeah. So, but at that time when he jumped on me, all I could do was just flip him off my back. I didn't want to fight my son. Like, fuck it, I'm leaving home. 16, 17 at the time, 10th, 11th grade. Yeah. And he left home on his own at that time. And as conscious as y'all know, the people who know us, that was crazy.
That was
crazy.
That was a hard time for us because babe, are you finished?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I don't know where to go. I was just venting. I was just explaining,
and
what the circumstances was.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And I'm sorry.
Sorry for rambling so long.
No, you good. And we're sharing this not to, I just want to put that out there. We're not sharing this to shame our son, shame our daughters, none of that. We're sharing this because we know that there are other parents that have experienced, and are experiencing the same thing. That tug and pull when your kids reach a certain age, when they're seeking autonomy, when they're trying to be independent, but they still need their parents at the same breath. But they don't know how to balance it. You know what I mean? And we were, like I said, we were young parents. So,
and that was just my perception.
Right.
That don't mean that's how it was. Right. That's my perception.
Right. We were young parents, so we were still learning. And even at that age, and even with us having, because we had all our kids by then, we had all 5 by then. Yeah. But it was just a lot navigating all these little different personalities, all these different developmental stages, everybody going through something different. We're adjusting to being in a new state. I'm a DC native, born and bred. He from VA. We met in DC.
Power Town, original.
We lived in DC, for the most part. Yeah. And
my father's family is in DC, so that's why I was right. There. So,
and it was a culture shock when we moved to Georgia. It definitely was for me. Because not only did we move to Georgia, we didn't move into the city. We moved into a rural city.
West Bubblefuck.
We talking about wild turkeys running through the yard, horses walking up and down your street.
Cows in the middle of the street.
Getting out. Street. Yeah. Like deer running up and down the road. I know they got deer in DC and Maryland too, but... Yeah.
This a whole nother level.
This a whole nother level, okay? It's a whole nother level.
Country.
It was country. So that was hard for me. So in my parenting during that time, I was trying to help my kids with their transition, but I was also struggling with my own transition. So I was lenient. You know what I mean? I wasn't as harsh as our parents were with us. Like they were straightforward. They ain't missing no goddamn word. Yeah. You do the fuck I say you gonna do, or you gonna get your ass beat.
And you knew that before me,
right? And that was it. So I was in a space where I was like, okay, let me try to give my kids a different experience. Let me try to, let us try to parent from a different perspective, right? So I was very lenient with my son. And I always tell my kids, I'm going to trust you until you give me a reason not to trust you, right? So
and she'll trust you a little bit more.
And I will, because I know that we all are
Yeah.
susceptible to making mistakes.
Absolutely.
We're kids. We don't come into this world knowing what to do. We mimic the things that our parents are doing.
You're merciful like
We
God.
did.
Mothers are. Mom,
We
God
are,
has got
we
to be a
are,
woman.
we
That's
are.
all I'm saying.
And we and you know, what I learned later on is that our kids mimic our behaviors.
Yes.
We didn't always know that we weren't presenting with the best behaviors. He and I were going through things because we were going through things individually. And we were probably throwing blame on each other where it was just really our personal experience. So we would have, you know, our moments where we arguing and carrying on and all this other type of stuff. And that doesn't, when you can't control your emotions, then that doesn't teach your children how to control their emotions. It doesn't teach them boundaries when you don't set certain boundaries. So they are literally like sponges. They are picking up everything that you do. But I know personally, I was dealing with my own trauma from my childhood. You know, I grew up in a household that was volatile. You know, I love my parents. You know, I love them.
I love them too.
I honor them. I treasure them. I'm grateful for the lessons that I got growing up. However,
Jay-Z, hey, Mom, Mary.
However, I saw some stuff that I probably shouldn't have seen.
They evolved too, though.
Right.
They evolved
They did
too.
evolve. They evolved greatly, but I still carried those things with me.
Yeah.
You know, so when he was ready to spank a child or punish a child, I'm being triggered by what happened in my childhood. And so I'm defensive against him.
Send me to jail. I'm going to send the breadwinner to jail.
I wasn't going to send him to jail.
Because if I hit him, I'm going to jail.
However,
we went through that.
However, and I did explain to you later on that was it was triggering for me because I know what it feels like to have a parent put their hands on you.
I get it.
It doesn't always.
It makes sense now.
Right.
I swear
it doesn't. It doesn't.
But we speaking the truth.
A lot of times it will. A lot of times the spanking, it didn't come from you trying to teach your child something. Imagine in me growing up.
Okay.
It was coming from my parents' own frustration.
Okay.
They didn't want to, you know, they had their own issues that they was dealing with, and here you go, got a child that's doing something that you don't want them to do. So you done had a bad day at work. You and my mama or my daddy, and you know, y'all done got into an argument, and then here I come in the house, and y'all are already frustrated. I done did something I wasn't supposed to do, or something that you didn't want me to do, and all of that frustration, it got spilled on.
Yeah, I get it.
It got spilled on to me.
Yeah.
You know,
and that wasn't my
means,
and my that triggered you back to that.
It did. It was triggering.
I apologize right now for that.
Thank you.
I get it right now in this moment.
It was very triggering for me. My household was always. Now, let me explain. It's not that we did not have good moments. We had some great moments. My family was amazing.
Traditional,
you know,
festival.
just it's always a good time when we're together.
And
however, in those good times, the alcohol got to flowing. Folks with substance abuse issues was in there. And it turned into turmoil. It turned into volatile situations. Somebody fighting, somebody putting their hands on somebody being verbally abusive. You know, somebody down, you know, being dismissive to somebody. Like all of these different dynamics were playing out in my household, and I was front and center watching all of them. So when I became a parent,
it makes sense.
And you know, when I didn't really want I would pop their hands, but I never pulled out a belt and spanked my kids.
I did.
He did.
The older kids.
Yeah, he was more old school when it came to parenting.
But it wasn't from frustrating that work.
Right. He was old school when it came to parenting. However, I was a mom at 19, so I was still dealing with my own childhood trauma.
That triggered that.
I hadn't matured enough.
That triggered that.
Right. I hadn't matured enough to be able to say, to not pour what was going on with me onto my kids, or to not pour it onto him when he was trying to discipline. All I saw was red flashing lights. That's all I saw. My kids being hurt, and I never wanted them to feel or experience anything that I experienced in the way of of physical interactions and verbal abuse and things like that.
And
I didn't want that. Yeah, I didn't want that for them. Yeah. And as I started to, because I went to school on and off, I had to stop go, stop, go, stop, go, just because life was life. So, but I was still, you remember, because I started out at Ashford. I went to a couple of different schools. I went to like 3 different schools. And then as but I was picking up little tools here and there as I was going. And then my work experience also
What you mean had to
enlightened me.
stop going to school?
You don't so when remember when I was first diagnosed with sciatica, and I had to do the surgery.
Oh, you mean in your older life?
Yeah. I'm talking about college.
Okay.
Yeah,
my
so
bad.
it's okay. It's okay. But when I was when I started my college journey, I went to
life.
Right. Okay. I went to a couple of different schools, but I was still picking up things. I still had practical experience, so I wanted to try to move with my kids in a different way. That's all I'm saying. So he and I would bump heads a lot because he couldn't see it from my perspective. Yeah. I couldn't see it from his perspective at the time. Yeah. We were just not emotionally intelligent enough to do that in that moment. Yeah. So, or in those moments. Yeah. But throughout the time span, like some of the things that, because I don't want to veer off track, because I know we be talking, Chad, but I just wanted to like veer back to some of the things that I experienced with my kids that caused me to have PTSD or to experience those symptoms. And one of the things that I remember was with my oldest daughter, when I found out, not even finding out that she was pregnant, but finding out like we had sent her home after she graduated high school, we sent her up to DC. We was experiencing some financial difficulties, and we were trying to figure that out, right? So we knew she had all our family is up there. She has another grandmother that's up there. So, we figured she go up there, she stay with her. Yeah. And she would be good. She can go to college, get her, or go to trade school, which the plan was to go to college. Yeah. Get her a degree and work, until we can, and then we were going to navigate as we went along. Hey, we love you. It's coming from a place of love. But so she went up there and she experienced some heavy things. One of the things that happened to her was she was she was smoking with someone, and she didn't know. She tried some herb, right?
It was K2 from the gas station.
And it was K2.
That's what it was.
And she ended up in the hospital. Now imagine your child experiences I'm not going to go into complete detail with that because there was a lot. However, imagine your child, you getting a call from your sister telling you that your child is in the hospital because she had some type of
couldn't breathe or something,
manic and physical episode because she done put some synthetic shit in her body. For what? You know what I mean? Like, smoke all the herb you want.
Plus, but you was raised by herbalists. You was raised by herbalists.
What you should be doing when it comes to smoking herb. Yes. So you should never let anybody give you anything, first and foremost. Whether it's your herb, your drink, whatever it is.
Facts. You should know.
You handle your own
stuff. You should have your own.
Anyway, right. And you definitely don't just try something just for the sake of trying it. But again, we don't fault her because she was young. Yeah. She was green. Like she had been down here all of these years and then she went to DC. That city life is tricky, man. It will suck you in.
Especially
it's a vortex.
If you older. You go there older, yeah.
Excuse me, yeah. It's a vortex. So she got sucked into that city life. She's a beautiful girl. She was getting all of this attention, and she just wanted she's a chameleon, so she'll go along with the flow certain times, but that's not always in your best interest. And she ended up in the hospital. That was one traumatic situation because I wasn't there. I couldn't do anything for her. I couldn't lay hands. I couldn't hold her and be in the hospital to talk to the doctors and make sure that she was getting the right treatment. I'm grateful for my sister because she was
Auntie
there.
Jamie, thank you, Jamie.
We thank you, baby. We thank you. But I could not. We appreciate you from the bottom of our heart. But I couldn't be there. So that, for me, was very, very traumatic. And then, later on in some of her, in her relationship, her first long-standing relationship, she dealt with homelessness. I got a call from her one day when she was just out on the street, going through it, having a whole mental breakdown.
Yeah.
And let me just say this, my child is very smart. She is very intelligent. She is the most loving, most nurturing person you will ever want to meet. Her smile will brighten your day. Her hugs will brighten your day. And the love that she pours out is overwhelming at times because she does not, and I've had these conversations with her.
Mega facts.
Because she doesn't love herself the way that she loves everybody else. She will put herself to the side to make sure everybody else is good.
Yeah.
And she was doing this early on in her first long-standing relationship. So she calls me one day and she out. They have nowhere to stay. She's in the street. She's scared.
Pregnant?
She was pregnant with my beautiful grandbaby. And I was so scared for her. We are not rich people. We're not sitting on a stack of money. We're not doing any of that. So it's hard to just come up with funds right then and there. To, like, I got you. I'm going to send you this. Go get you a place to stay. So that was very trying for me. I had never heard her that emotionally distressed before. And all of these little things happened and just started to plant seeds for me. They were planting all these seeds. It was constantly triggering my anxiety.
Plus, we got family there.
Yeah, we have family there. However, family be having their situations and they try, but they're only going to do so much. That's in their wheelhouse. Everybody don't know how to deal with an emotionally charged child or a young adult who is trying to find her way. Everybody don't know how to deal with that. So, I don't fault them. They did what they could do, but it was scary for me. It was scary for me because I could not protect her. I couldn't. The only thing I could do was talk her down and try to comfort her with my voice. And that was really all I could do, And then we had another situation, and this was here where I was at work. My husband sent me some pictures of my son after he was in a car accident, driving under the influence. And his face, he showed up at the door. His face was just, I still see that picture to this day. That's just struck a chord of fear in me because I never.
When Drew?
No, that was when we were here. When we was here and I was working at the group home, right? And showed up at the door, and remember his face was all bloody and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So again, it was just
he ran into a tree.
Yeah, it was very like that was scary for me. All of these things happening, and then just the recidivism with myself, in and out of the system, in and out of the system, in and out of the system, homelessness, dealing with his mental health. Like it was such a heavy load. I didn't know early on. I suspected early on that my son had some mental health issues as far as emotion regulation and his mood and things of that nature. But again, being a part of the diaspora, even having my own diagnosis, like I wasn't ready to say, well, my son got A, B, C, and D.
Wait, pause. This is where men will understand. Fathers will say, okay, he didn't listen to what I was saying. That's our feelings. But a mother's feelings is what she's telling you right now, regardless of what's going on. And I know y'all can relate if y'all seasoned veteran parents.
Right.
So the father stance, I'm like, damn, he don't fucking listen to what I'm telling him. Why won't he fucking listen? I'm frustrated. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, the mercy of God, the goddess, feels this way. And this is the problem. This is what's making PTSD, parenthood. This is what creates it.
It does.
So it's major. It's sorry.
Major. It's okay.
I just wanted to say that. I had to put that in there.
Absolutely, as you should. But we just, it was just all of these different instances. And that's what the sister on MUMSTRUETEA was talking about because she dealt with that with her son.
Yeah.
She was, she said I was in and out of so many courtrooms throughout his upbringing and his adulthood that I didn't know what to do. My head was just spinning. And she was dealing with her own situation at the time where she had health problems, trying to take care of herself. But she didn't want to fail her son. She didn't want to not show up for him, and she was like, it was not that he didn't come from a good home or he didn't receive love. she just did, it was a lot going on with him, and she did everything that she knew how to do in her wheelhouse. And at some point, she had to come to the understanding that I'm giving all that I can give, and I'm going to have to start setting some boundaries.
Yeah.
And so for me, when I realized that I was just spiraling, like I was crying every day, I was sad all the time. I would put on a smile when I could, but it was there. It was always there with me. My body was experiencing all of these symptoms. I was dreaming, just like the definition that I gave y'all about PTSD. I was having these violent dreams. It was just, seeing your kids get hurt in your dreams, or having these racing thoughts that won't go away because, like when I was saying about him sending me that picture stuck in my head. I couldn't even look at it on my phone. I looked at it once and I immediately broke down. And after that, I couldn't look at it. It was like 2 or 3 pics. And I couldn't look at it anymore because I never want to see my child looking like that. Never. I don't want him to put anybody else in danger. I have two sides of the coin. I'm like, he could have took somebody's life, or his life, and or his life could have been taken. And that for me was hard to process because all I wanted to do was fix it. As mothers, that's all we want to do. We want to fix it. We want to protect our kids. We want to keep them from any hurt, harm, or danger. We don't want to see them suffer. We don't want to see them struggle beyond what they need to experience. So it was just like, what do I do? And at that point, and of course, it was some more instances in there. But at that point, on top of some of the things that I experienced some things with my younger daughters, with their mental health that was really triggering for me because it put me in a constant state of worry. I didn't want, and we talked early on about suicide and suicidal ideations and things like that. That was something that we experienced with our younger kids. Depression, anxiety, them not knowing what was going on with them and how to navigate that. So for me, I knew that at some point the tears had to stop and I had to educate myself more so that I can start to be the sounding board, be the support that my kids need. And I will have to compartmentalize my trauma and deal with that on a different level. Because had I not, our situation could look totally different right now. And don't get me wrong, we still have our struggles.
Yeah.
But we're blessed and we're grateful that our kids are learning a lot more than what we learned at that age.
Yeah.
They have privy to more information because we have more information, and because they have been raised to be inquisitive, to ask questions, to not muffle their emotions.
And they have our sponsorship.
They have it all the time. Like the communication as we grew,
more than our parents.
It was important.
I hate to say it, but it's true.
It is true. It's like true. Our parents, we couldn't talk to our parents about everything.
They weren't telling us about no credit, real estate.
They weren't telling us about none of that. It was just do what I say. Do what I say. I'm your parent. Because I said so, damn it.
Yeah.
And that's that, And they were only doing what they knew how to do.
That's it.
So I don't fault them. I don't blame them for any of that.
Evolution of generation.
But it is definitely, I'm grateful for the information that we have been privy to.
Absolutely.
In our journey in parenthood, the experiences that we had. But it has definitely created some PTSD where we are triggered when certain things happen. Like certain things that happen with the older kids. When we see our younger kids experiencing some of those things, it's triggering for us. Yeah. That's where the PTSD comes in. For me, it definitely does. Because it can be very triggering for me to see some of the behaviors in my younger kids that I saw in my older kids.
Yeah.
And because I don't want them to navigate it in the same way, and not having those two older kids in the house now with the younger kids at the age that they are, it can, I wanted them to be able to benefit from their experience.
Having the oldest.
Yeah, having those older kids, they be like, look ahead, let me tell you, I did some things. Let me help you keep from going down that road. However,
reasons why they
our middle baby, Miss Empress, she be on it. She don't play with these younger ones. She do not play.
She's the captain.
She is right now, on top of it. Like she do not play. So She has, and my oldest was
Big up MPJ.
She was that, yeah. She was that when she was in the
My
household.
bubbles.
And Empress has picked that up, and I don't know if you all are familiar with the term adultification, um, but I just learned that recently.
What's adultification?
Okay, hold on. We got a child at the door.
Zion's here.
Zion's here. Emmy!
18-year-old freshman from the University
Hold on,
because
I want to get up. Emmy!
Proud of my lady.
Emmy! Sorry about that. Y'all know how these kids be acting like they don't hear y'all ass. Emmy, can you let Zion in, please?
Oh, they could get in on this.
They ain't about to get in on it. But yeah, so she just closed the door in her face. See what I'm saying? She be on one. But yeah, so
life be life and
life be life. But yeah, so I just she does not play with
Turn the light on.
She be on it. But adultification is, in layman's terms, when a child is in a position or is put in a position where they have to be adult before they are of the adult age. So they tend to take on more adult things because a parent in a household is not meeting that need for another child or sibling. Sometimes it's not necessarily that the parent is not meeting the need. Sometimes it is that the parent is working or the parent is not.
A lot of times.
Yeah, the parent is not in the household 24/7. So the older sibling is taking care of the younger sibling.
More than you know, really.
Right. More the older kid is taking care of the younger siblings. Yeah. So they put in a parent role, that parentification. Yeah. I think it's parentification and adultification. I'm gonna look it up, y'all, so I can get you the right definitions later.
Sibling
but
nurturers.
It's basically a child being put into a position to take on adult responsibilities.
The captain of the latchkey.
Because of something that is going on in the household, or some type of dynamic in the house. In the household, I was definitely a latchkey kid. Yes. But yeah, so some of those things, just to really back in, some of those things were definitely my experiences in PTSD. Y'all see my painting falling. My daughters painted these paintings. They're amazing artists. But my paintings.
You noticed that falling?
Yeah, I did. I was trying to, do the aesthetic thing, but
it's all right.
Hold on.
It's still beautiful.
Okay. There we go.
Sorry, I was just cowboy colors. I'm mad at my cowboy.
Anyway, but okay, stay focused. Yeah. But yeah, so the see, you done made me lose my damn train.
I'm pissed. I'm sorry.
But yeah, so a lot of those experiences that we had, they were, I never wanted to put my kids in a position where they had to parent the younger kids, but being an older sibling, that dynamic is going to come in there some way, somehow. My sister had to do it for me, and it's going to happen. It just happens. I had to do it for my little sister. Yeah. So
and Empress is doing it now.
And Empress is doing it now.
Not that we not here, but she's doing it.
But
it's
just
playing that part.
You don't, you try not to put them in those positions, but sometimes, life, the dynamics are there that will create those situations. So you just have to make sure that you are taking the time to really educate yourself on what is going on with you. That self-care that we were talking about in the last episode that y'all asked me to go watch. Mm. But that information there, you have to really pay attention to what's going on with you so that you can set the boundaries necessary so that you are not pouring that onto your children. You're not letting those diagnoses or those behaviors pour onto your children as much as you can help it. You are who you are. They're going to pick up some of your things, but in the same breath, if you
help
know
them to
better,
use it better,
right? If you know better, do better, and be transparent with them so that they understand what's going on. But when I say that PTSD as a parent, that is real because I have had a lot of moments, just a lot of moments. Some I shared, some I did not share with him. He didn't always know what was going on with me, but it started early on. And I believe when I left the house, that's when I first really experienced it.
Yeah.
That's when I first really,
I can
really experienced
imagine.
it.
I can
So,
imagine.
but it was
You
hard.
seen how close we was from the jump, and that's trauma to itself. Like
Yeah,
for us to be like we are, I love my son.
yeah.
Let that be known unconditionally, but it's still tough love with me. She's the merciful one.
It's
Um,
not. I mean, I think we all
you
should
know,
be granted
and I'm
grace.
merciful some to the point
Yeah,
where I wasn't conversating with my son at the time.
yeah,
Now I do.
yeah. I
You know what
think
I mean?
grace is necessary
It's the
for all
school
of
I
us.
come from. I don't mean nothing by it. I love my son. So to the depths of the galaxies. I love my son.
But you can only, love is not always enough.
No, it's
So
not.
sometimes you have to. For me, I don't want to speak for him,
Yeah.
but for me, like I said, it was important for me to educate myself so that I can educate my kids because
Me too.
I knew, and I
I just got a
understood.
different way. I just
Yeah, I
right.
knew, and I understood that when I started seeing the same behaviors that when I started seeing some of the same behaviors in my kids that I saw in myself, the same responses, the same actions, I knew, okay, you're gonna have to do a little more. You're gonna have to do a lot more because it is going to be impactful to them. They're going to benefit from you taking the time to work on healing yourself. And like I said, I'm far from perfect. I still have my issues. I still struggle with dealing with my emotions.
Me too.
I still struggle with communication. Me and him got into it last night, and I just had to cut it because I didn't want to go there.
Why
I
you
just
say
didn't
that? Why you telling that?
because we did. We being transparent, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so
You
we
said
had
it, yeah.
we had a moment last night,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But
I thought it was nothing. That's probably the problem.
right, and I
thought-
struggle with people dismissing me because that's something that's triggered from my childhood, from my upbringing. I don't like to be. It hurts me when I'm dismissed. So if I feel like, even though he may not feel like he's being dismissive,
Wait,
it's dismissive to me.
Wait.
So,
Let's talk about it since we inside.
Wait, no, because we supposed to be on PTSD. I'm sorry I brought it up.
But wait, I made a meal.
Babe,
She loved it. They loved it. I didn't like the meal that I made. This is what it was over. She got.
You have to lean into the camera.
Okay, she got mad at me for not liking.
I didn't get mad, and that was the miscommunication. I didn't
used
get mad.
To not eating these vegan. I made a vegan meal, but
I
didn't like it.
It was delicious.
I like my dairy.
It was plant based.
I could have almond milk, but
Alfredo, and it was delicious.
Yeah, but it was just all like it wasn't.
It was the noodles that I think he didn't like.
I love the noodles.
You said you didn't cook them long enough. Remember?
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, he cooked chickpea noodles.
They weren't al dente.
Yeah, they were to me. They were good to me because I cooked chickpea noodles and them jokers got soft as hell, and I ain't like them. They was too much.
No, I didn't cook them long enough. I don't think.
Yeah.
Or it's the way I warmed it up because I didn't eat when they ate. They ate when it was done.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was delicious,
and then that's what I said to myself after the argument. Like, she fussing at me because I don't like it, but I probably just should have ate when they ate. I probably should have ate when it was done, when I finished it.
Yeah.
So that's what that. My bad. I had to explain that.
It's okay, and I'm just clarifying that I wasn't
real life.
I wasn't fussing. I was, just reiterating, but he took it as fussing. So, it is what it is. But we moved past that. But I was saying, sometimes. Thank you, love. I was saying sometimes that you watch your kids mimicking your behaviors, and it's important and it's necessary that you try to handle your shit so that they can handle their shit.
Yeah.
So that we're not, because it's transferable.
Yeah.
When mom and dad are having a bad day, if you don't know how to gauge that, your kids are going to pick up on that. My kids, I really believe that they're empaths because they pick up on energy very quickly, and they will hold on to that energy.
Because they daddy
and they feel that. Like I feel
I'm
things.
An empath.
I feel things very deeply. He feels things very deeply. So it's just natural that they're going to feel it. We're a close knit family. We be in our little bubble. We always around each other. So when one person is going through something, the other person is going to experience it, whether they want to or not. That energy is transferable.
Yeah.
But I know we kind of, been all over the place with it, but we just having a conversation.
That's real.
We fellowshipping over here. And I'm just, just to get back though and keep to keep it on topic. Yeah, so
Bankhead
parents,
bouncer, man.
parents, parents. I reach out to you
Who
from a
jumping?
sincere place. Please take care of your mental health. Please take care of your emotional well-being. Please honor yourself and show yourself some grace and some mercy so that you can navigate all of the changes that your kids are going to go through, all of the trials and tribulations, all of the ups and downs that you are going to experience, especially if you are raising multiple kids.
Yes.
It is never going to be
You can relate to
what you
everything
think
we
it,
said.
yeah, it's never going to be what you think it's going to be. It's never going to be cookie cutter. It's never going to be, I'm going to set a plan and this is how we're going to do this. It's always going to have to be some alterations here and there in order for you to meet the needs of your kids and to meet the needs for yourself. But you have to take care of you first so that your kids, we can break some of these generational things that are going on, some of these generational behaviors, this generational trauma, these generational stigmas. We have to really start because our kids live in a different world. It is not the world that we grew up in.
Watch this. Pause. Zion. Zion. Go get Sophie, please. She's off work. Go pick up your sister. Real life. Life be life, y'all. My bad.
But hold on.
Please, could you go get Sophie?
But yeah.
Unpause.
Unpause. Our 16-year-old's at work. And it's time for her to get off. But we about to wrap this up. But you gonna get her?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Was that a jab?
You heard that?
That was a jab.
Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that? So I'm saying, disrespectful. Just disrespectful. You can't even whip their ass no more.
Okay. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Because it's cute to us. Now we think it's cute.
I can't go nowhere else. I gotta go.
Thank you, Zion. Love you. Be safe. Thank you for having your glasses on. Thank you, Empress, for going with us.
Now, the children are gone. We're in the house by ourselves, which never happens. But we're back after those messages. And yeah, so we're gonna wrap it up. I didn't want to, hold y'all long. We just wanted to get on here and have a conversation because I thought it was a great topic because I don't think we as parents, we don't acknowledge that we experience PTSD as kids, as parents raising kids. Like we carry a heavy load. We absorb everything that our kids do, everything that they say, everything that they think, every emotion that they have. Yeah. It sits with us always, and we're resonating on it. So please create some boundaries for yourself. Please address any emotional or mental health issues or physical issues that you are having that is directly related to parenthood. Because it's real, but your kids are not going. You cannot take care of your kids and be there for your kids in the way that they need you to be if you are not well, if you are not healthy. And even if you're going through something, it's okay to share with your kids so that they know what that looks like. So if they ever experience it, they know the signs and the symptoms. They know what it looks like, so they can be proactive versus reactive when it comes to their overall well-being.
Share with them.
Yeah, we have to share with them. I know we was like all over.
Too much.
Yeah,
No,
let your kids tell it. You share way too damn much. But anybody that knows him knows that he will share. But
real story.
It's beneficial at times, you know what I mean. But when it comes to the kids, they don't always want to hear that in that moment because they can't figure out how it relates to them.
But guess what? I wish I knew the vulnerability of my parents, my grandfather, and my grandma. I wish I knew the vulnerability at the time. I didn't. I was young. It took me years later to talk to my uncles and aunts and or he's Bud. Both of them used to smoke Viceroys. I didn't even know. Neither they used to smoke when I was
Because
alive.
you didn't talk about, you kept shit to yourself back then. You didn't talk about,
Oh,
adults
Bernie
wasn't
caught
sharing
Bud in the
nothing.
car with another lady, and
Yeah,
she
you
beat the
parent,
car.
they
I
weren't
didn't
talking
know
about
none of that
that.
till later on. That's what I'm saying. But I like to be transparent. I like
Mm-hmm.
with our kids. I like to be real and let them know my vulnerabilities, what I've been through, so that they can relate. So when
Right.
they make a mistake, they can be like, "Oh shit, Dad did that. Dad or Dad fucked up," sort of like that,
Right.
so they can relate.
Right.
I think being real is the best policy to me.
It is.
And I transferred that from the whippings to just being blatant. I transferred. I ain't got the belt no more, like Bud Sharp had on my ass.
Right.
I ain't got that. My grandfather who raised me.
Yeah, but words are powerful too.
But
So remember that
words,
they powerful.
exactly. Words are powerful, but
They carry. Sometimes they carry a.
But I think words are the communication that's heard or unheard. You have to do it in a certain way now.
Mhm.
I realized that.
You have to say, even when you're trying to share with your kids, you can't. You know, it's
definitely not the whippings no more. So
yeah.
you know.
Even when you're trying to share with your kids, you have to make sure that you're not sharing things that could be traumatic for them. You have to really know your kids so that you know how to meet them where they are. You have to know your child's communication style because every kid does not receive information the same way. So you have to try to, because it's going to change as they get older, but as they start to grow and learn different ways of communication, you have to learn them as well. So that you know how to, so that your communication can be as effective as it possibly can be.
Mm.
You know, you don't want to just be communicating to your kids at 18 and 19 years old the same way when you communicating with them when they were 2 and 3 years old or 4 or 5 years old because they're not going to receive it well. They're at a different stage in their life at that time. So you have to learn when to make that shift. You know, you got to put your different hat on so that you can reach them in the way that they need to be reached.
Right.
And again, we didn't always know that. That's something that we're still learning and developing as, you know.
I didn't have no notebooks of fatherhood.
No, he didn't. And I had to take that into consideration too. While I had both parents in the household, he did not. But even with me having both parents in the household, I still went through some shit.
More traumatic shit than
he did.
Ain't that some shit, y'all?
So, it could be, and that's because my parents they didn't understand how to take care of themselves take care of their mental health and the things that they had experienced in life had just, spilled over to their kids. So it's this life is something, y'all.
Life be
life something. It do.
Life be life.
It's something, and it can be, it can be trying, and it can be the most beautiful thing in the world, but it can also be the most trying thing in the world.
It's a learning.
It can also be the most traumatic thing in the world.
It's a learning stage, people.
We're
a spirit visiting in a physical form.
We are.
It's just an experience.
We are.
It's one phase.
It's an experience, but
it's a blessed phase.
Right. It's an experience that we want. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not trying to talk over top of him.
No.
But I don't. I think that in order for us to really walk in our purpose while we're here, we need to try to have the best quality of life that we can. And if you are a parent, then you need to you'll do yourself a disservice by not educating yourself so that you can show up for your kids in a way that because if your kids don't have you showing up for them in the way that they need you to show up for them, then that's in turn just pouring more stress back onto your life. And this, like I said, this is for the parents.
What do you mean, like expectations?
So if you're not healthy, if you don't know how to communicate, if you don't know how to balance things in life, then when your kids,
like expectations.
Then when your kids are going through things, they're not going to know how to go through things, which in turn turns right back onto you. Because then you're having to navigate kids that don't know how to handle their emotions, who don't know how to deal with conflicts, who don't know how to communicate and things of that nature. So I just say all that to say that PTSD for parents is real. It is a reality. And some of you may not even realize that that's what you're experiencing when you are triggered by certain things that your children do. But, take the time to just educate yourself. I'm not saying if you don't like therapy, that's fine. But if you are into it, take the time to go sit down and talk with somebody that can educate you on it. And if you don't want to do that, there are so many accredited platforms out here where you can get information by just sitting and listening, or a support group, or a friend, or somebody that an elder that has experienced some of what you're experiencing. There are always ways to continue to grow and learn, but you have to be open to it. You have to allow yourself to receive that information, because nobody is too
It's
good.
only for those looking for that help.
It's nobody is too good. Nobody is too grown to learn something new. That's bullshit. And if you think that, you're doing yourself a disservice. So
there's a lot of people thinking that.
So we're gonna take our PTSD asses on up out of here, because we are at 1 hour and 5 minutes. I don't know if y'all got anything from this fellowship moment. I pray that you did. We were kind of, chatty Cathy, but that's what we here for. We need a place to talk.
It's real fellowship.
You see, we can't talk to our damn kids because they ain't trying to hear nothing we got to say. So
they do.
They traumatizing us all over again.
She ain't got her
but
sister.
She did.
And Empress Road.
Kudos. We're gonna give it to the kids. Yeah. Each generation, they're getting better. But take care of yourself, lovelies. Love on yourself.
Cheers,
Be
y'all.
good to yourself. It's okay to have some spirits every now and again to channel your spirits.
Polarity.
Yeah, it's a good thing. So this is Empress Ife and my co-host
Malik Star.
Malik Star. We are signing off. We wish you peace and blessings. I will include some resources in the caption, so please, click on the little 3 dots so you can see the extra information that I put in there. And please follow, like, share, subscribe, comment. My link is in my bio on Instagram, on TikTok, on
talk.
Spotify.
That's real talk.
On Castbox.
It did it.
I'm everywhere. I'm trying to reach 50 subscribers, y'all. I want to go live on YouTube. So please subscribe to Ife'S Village Podcast. We are new to this and we're still learning. So please don't judge us. We'll get better as we go. It has been amazing. This is good for us too, to be able to have these talks without, wanting to
get at each other.
Yeah, strangle each other. So thank you.
Realish.
Thank you for being a part of our fellowship. And we will see you on the next episode.
Much healing to you.
Stay tuned. Peace and light, lovelies.
Blessed.
You gotta hit the stop, babe.
Love
y'all.
This one.